Welcome to Sali490, the Salish Sea Studies Community Seminar. I'm Dr. Mary Tuti Baker, and I'm excited to learn with you about the Salish Sea, the lands and waters that have been home to the Coast Salish people since time immemorial. Welcome to Sali490, the Salish Sea Studies Community Seminar. I'm Dr. Mary Tuti Baker, and I'm excited to learn with you about the Salish Sea, the lands and waters that have been home to the Coast Salish people since time immemorial. I want to thank the Laktamish and Nooksack peoples for their stewardship of these lands that are now called Bellingham, and which I now call home. I moved here last summer, and this is my second quarter teaching at Western. You can see on this map that the Salish Sea flows into the Pacific Ocean, also known as Te Moananui, the great highway that connects the peoples of the Pacific, socially, culturally, and politically. And now Te Moananui connects me here in the Salish Sea back to my homeland. I am Kanaka Maoli, Native Hawaiian, and Hawaii is my homeland and the Pacific Ocean my home waters. In the next part of this video, I want to orient you to the course and how we're going to build a learning community together this quarter. We'll be using Canvas as the primary learning platform. I'll be updating our Canvas homepage weekly to include the tasks for the current and upcoming week. All material from past weeks are contained in the modules up here on the left-hand side of the Canvas homepage. You can click on the modules and see all the materials that have been put up available to you for the course. On this left-hand tab also, you'll find the Zoom tab that you'll use to enter the online discussion room at noon on Fridays. Now, this is a different link than the one you're going to use to access the Thursday talks. Please log on using a computer or a tablet. I ask you to do this so that you'll have the best capabilities to type responses in the Google Docs and have your camera on during class. You know, these are things that will help facilitate our class discussion, our class sharing. And if you have any difficulties with these class parameters, please get in touch with me through email and we can make alternative arrangements. On the right of the Canvas screen, you'll find your to-do list. These are convenient reminders of when tasks and assignments are coming due. I would appreciate you completing assignments in a timely manner. There isn't a lot of reading and the assignments are minimal. This is a 1-credit course and you should be averaging about 3 hours a week on your coursework. You'll find a detailed explanation of what you need to do to get credit for the class in the syllabus. And that link to the syllabus is here in this panel. I highly recommend that you read the syllabus carefully. It describes the course and explains course expectations, your grading, and assignments. And if you can do that before the first class on Friday, at the beginning of class, we can talk about any questions you might have about the syllabus. Also in this panel is the link to the Google Docs, the Google folder, which will include the docs that we create each week to facilitate our discussions. In the panel to the left is a listing of my office hours and a link to schedule an appointment, also a direct link into the room where office hours are being held. You can also email me through the Canvas email function. And then I want to also ask you to subscribe to the Salish Sea News and Weather, which is a daily email compilation of usually 8 to 10 articles with, summaries of articles with links to the full articles. And they're all about the Salish Sea. They are compiled by Mike Sato, who is also a journalist and one of the featured speakers in the Huxley series. To subscribe, you can email Mike Sato and ask him to add you to the mailing list for the Salish Sea news and weather. Right here is the direct link to Mike Sato's email. Keep a log of interesting articles that you find. You can use this for formulating questions for Mike Sato for his talk. You also might find some interesting context for the Salish Sea talks that will be featured throughout the quarter. So Friday synchronous Zoom sessions, as I said, they begin at noon, and you'll log in through the Zoom on Canvas. Generally, I want us to begin with sharing questions that were posed for discussion about the talk. We'll use these questions as the springboard for our discussion. And as noted in the syllabus, we want to think about these talks using the learning domains associated with the Salish Sea minor. And those domains are art, storytelling, and science communication, Salish Sea histories and cultures, the US, Canada, and Washington, British Columbia relationships, and the ecological health and restoration of the Salish Seas. You can contribute to the discussion orally on Zoom or in writing via the Google Doc. And we'll spend then the last 5 minutes of each class reviewing the material that you'll need to prepare for the next week's speaker. Of course, our first class will be a little different. We'll begin with introductions, similar to the introduction at the opening of this video. I like to begin by asking, where are you from and what is your waters? And since we're all connecting remotely, where are you now? We'll then launch into our first discussion. The first speaker in the Huxley series is Representative Sharon Shoemake. Her talk is titled Energy, Economics, and Electoral Politics. And in preparation for Thursday's talk and Friday's lecture, I'm asked that you explore these links to familiarize yourself with the electoral process. After you take a look at these links, you should be able to note where what your legislative district is and who your elected officials are. You can also then review the legislative priorities for the Washington Environmental Council, and here's a link to that. And then bring these responses with you to the talk on Thursday and post them on our discussion forum for week 1 in preparation for our discussions. So that's it for now. I want to thank you for your attention and encourage you to contact me via Canvas email if you have any questions about the course. I look forward to meeting you all on Friday. And until then, as we say in Hawaii, aloha, ahui ho.